kind of an interesting room. You know, I guess, do I stand? Do I sit? I'm going to sit and just have more of an intimate conversation about this. But great to be here. For those of you that I've not had a chance to meet, I'm Jeff Kliewer. I've spent about 30 years in fundraising. I've done everything from running a direct mail program at the Russ Reed Company, to running new business, to working on a $60 million campaign at University of Southern California, which was it was kind of a funny story. I was working for a gentleman at USC in the Cancer Center, and my boss called me. He said, "Hey, we need an associate dean at the School of Gerontology. It's we're starting a new campaign. I think you'd be a good fit for the job?" And I said, "That sounds great." He said, we're raising $6 billion at the university. Yours would be the smallest chunk at $60 million. And I mean, it's crazy money. And I said, "That sounds great." I said, "I'll take it. But by the way, what is gerontology?" I didn't even know what it really meant. And so I had the pleasure of meeting with a lot of older folks that were looking at, who had tons of money in LA. How could we extend our lives and make them longer? So I've done that. I worked at a Christian school. And I'm the CEO and co-founder of ViewSpark. ViewSpark is a fundraising technology platform that makes it easy for fundraisers to share real-time video updates with donors happening right now. This is what's happening right now at the mission. I left USC in 2015, started the company. Hardest thing I've ever done, starting my own business. And I'm going to write a book about all the mistakes you can make, because I've made all the mistakes. But the Lord has kept us here, and we're doing well. We've got about 150 clients around the country, and it's a thrill. But today we're here to talk about AI, and I'll talk about Signaler a little bit in just a second here. AI is really a moving target. It changes every day. That's the platforms that I use. Almost every other day, I'll get a message. Don't click for the upload. Click for the update. Click here for the update, because it's just constantly changing. But what I want to go through today is help unlock some tools that you can use at the mission. Whatever size you are, they're really beneficial tools. I want to have some fun and show you some mistakes, some fun things with AI that they've done, or the things you have to keep an eye on in the midst of using the tools that are helpful. And then also just be a reminder of the things that you need to continue to focus on with your mission. Okay, here we go. So the key thing, first of all, before we dig into AI is a wonderful partner, but your job hasn't changed. When you look at what donors are looking for, because everything you do has to focus on how are we communicating to our donors? How are we meeting the need that they have? Donors are connected to you. They're investing in your work. They believe in your work, and they want to partner with you. And so what are they looking for? They're looking for you to keep your word. Did you deliver on what we gave you money for? In fact, one of my dad spent 50 years at World Vision, was executive vice president, ran all the marketing and fundraising. So he and I are the ones that started ViewSpark. But he told me that one day a donor called him. This is in I think it was the early 90s, late 80s, and said, "Bill, I'm here in Nairobi. I want to do this. Can you help me do that?" Meaning, can World Vision help me do that? So it wasn't like, here's my $1 million, go to it. It was, I'm here, I want to see that this is happening. Can you guys accomplish the goal that I have? The donors talking. So again, donors want to see that you can do the work that they want to have happen. They want you to prove it. Show donors that their gifts are making a difference. You said you wanted this, we're showing you that we did that. And in real time. I mean, nowadays with technology, donors are looking for their gift in action now. I gave you the money. Did you do what you said you would do right now? Those are the crucial things that we have to remember as fundraisers. AI or no AI, we've got to continue to do that. And it's not about the technology. It's about connecting with your donors' hearts and having the time to do it. AI can give you the chance to get a lot of your time back and give you the ability to focus on what donors are looking for. One of my favorite comments, I talk about this every time I speak. I had an investor, one of our ViewSpark investors, we have a handful, about 15 different, basically major donors that said, I want to see my gift, I want to see what's happening with my donations, but I don't, so I'm going to invest in ViewSpark and help make sense. One of our investors called me one day and said, Jeff, you know what I want? I want snacks. And I said, what in the world are you talking about? He goes, I want snacks. I don't need a buffet. I want my organizations to give me little bits of information. I just want little pieces. I want one story. I want one picture, one short video. I don't want 15 pictures. I don't want 15 paragraphs because I'm looking at it on my phone. 90% of people look at content on your phone, so you've got to keep it small. I don't want to scroll through anything. And so when you're talking with your donors, make sure you're giving them snacks, little bits of information. Yeah, that was his quote. I don't need a 15-paragraph newsletter. Just send me a quick video or a text. Show me my gift actually did something. And the way you do that, raw video, this is maybe a little bit of a ViewSpark. We really handled this. AI can help with these things. A raw video, 30 to 60 seconds, really, really short. When you use video, you get a 200% increase in click rates, and donors are 7 times more likely to give when they see a video. Keep the copy short, 2 to 3 paragraphs of 2 to 3 sentences, and then make sure you're using MMS text. MMS text is really important. It's not just SMS. SMS is where you just get the copy. MMS has the image, the GIF that goes along with it. We moved all of our clients on the ViewSpark side of things to MMS text about 2 years ago, saw a 40% increase in open rates. It was remarkable to see what happened. AI can help with a lot of this functionality and make it easy. And one of the things we talk about is, it really does become your partner. You don't look at it yet. I think we're a few years away from it. When you hear Elon talk about they're going to be doing surgeries to replace surgeons in a few years, we might get there fundraising wise, but right now it really is a partner. No thanks, I have ChatGPT right now. AI is your partner. It's not a replacement for your brain. So make sure that as we go through these things, you're thinking about AI as a partner and a tool that you can use. So I'm going to go through 7 different ways that you can leverage AI in your work. Again, this really can work for fundraising shops of any size, small or large. We'll talk about writing appeals, meeting notes and follow-up, donor prospect research, personalization at scale, video to multi-channel copy, news scanning and outreach, and then live brainstorming. So let me walk through some of these things here. So the first one, writing appeals, thank yous, grants, and stewardship. AI can really be your first voice and mission and give yourself something to send to donors, some copy that you can send to donors. This is the most common use we see today of AI. See a lot of folks. In fact, I've been on ViewSpark meetings with clients and like, well, what should I say to this donor? And they'll be sharing their screen because we're looking at different things, and they'll open up Claude or Grok or ChatGPT. I'm meeting with a donor, and they'll start typing in, and they'll pull up something that they can share. Think about it as this: you can take one draft of a letter and create different versions: an email version, a text version, a social media post. You can take AI, plug it in there, and say, "Give me a copy that I can use for these different touch points." So you can go from one touch point, just a letter that you have, and actually you can take a picture of a letter, upload it into the AI platform you're using, and then get that to leverage that out across different platforms, with social, text, or email. The key here is you have to look at it, again, as your first draft machine. It will make mistakes, and I'll show you some funny mistakes that it has made. It will make mistakes, but it can be really, really helpful with formatting. Like, how should I format this letter? And it'll pull different resources to show you best practices on that. I like to use, I use Grok, I use Claude. There's a lot of different platforms out there that you can use. ChatGPT. The ones I'm most familiar with are Claude and Grok, and those are ones that I've used with writing appeals. Again, this is the most common, the most simple way to use it. Again, you want to be careful. I saw this meme and I thought this is great. This is me when my teacher asks, why does the first line of my essay say, sure, here's a 2,000-word essay written like a 4.0 GPA student. Okay, so, and the key takeaway, if you don't read what AI hands you, your donors will. And so be very careful when you get something, especially detailed, long reports, long pages. You really do still need to check and make sure that everything is is correct. So the second one, meeting notes and follow-up. This is more of a basic. It's really a massive time saver that you can use. You can use AI to be a note taker. There are different platforms you can use, Otter, Fathom, Grain. They're now standard in major gift officer work. In Zoom, I use Zoom a lot, and now Zoom just recently launched an AI tool that'll take all the notes. It is huge, and it's not expensive. These tools are super helpful. And I tell you, for me, I'm in a meeting and I'm sitting there trying to remember, what did they say about this? What did they say about that? The AI will be able to capture that meeting, translate it, and put it into some notes for me. It's really, really helpful. I recommend that you use this when you're in donor meetings. And the last comment there, always tell the donor that you're using a note taker. Again, most people are getting really comfortable with this. At first, when I admit people into a Zoom room now, if I'm doing a meeting, it'll say, Sally wants to have Otter join the meeting. I was kind of like, wait a minute, do I want her tool recording the meeting? It's very commonplace these days, and donors are getting comfortable with it. And it's really simple to say, hey, I've got a tool here I'm using to record the meeting. I just want to make sure I don't miss any details, and it's far easier for me to focus on our conversation and listen to you than try to scribe down some notes. So it's very common. People are comfortable with it. Has anybody used that and found it helpful? Yeah. You're using it right now? Oh, good. Okay. Well, I hope I say the right thing. I'd like a copy of that. That'd be great. So, okay. The third one here, donor and prospect research, which enables you to have a better conversation with your donors. Again, it's not the tool alone, it's what it empowers you to do. You want to have a good conversation with your donor. And so this is a tool that can do that for you. What I've seen it used for with some of our clients, and you'll see there are AI synthesizes bio, news, 990s, LinkedIn, and it creates a one-page briefing. When I was at USC, we had a whole staff with 400 fundraisers at the university, 400 people on the fundraising team. There was a whole staff that their whole job was donor research. And they would take days. And I'm meeting with this person that owns this company, days to pull this together. Now, in 15 minutes, I can put in, I'm meeting with this donor, here's what I know about them, pull some information, and give me a background on what I should talk to them about or their history. You have to be careful with some of the information because it'll pull content from LinkedIn. If you look at LinkedIn, everybody's the king of the world and a hero, and they've got all these incredible accomplishments. So be careful when you pull that information in and then you use that in a conversation with your donor, just to make sure that it's accurate. But it can be super helpful. And most importantly, make sure it enables you to ask questions of your donors. You don't want to go in there with a bunch of comments and thoughts. You really are looking for ways of asking questions. One of my favorite stories from my fundraising days, my boss at University of Southern California used to work at a different university hospital on the west side in LA. And he found that, and this is something that he could have done with AI in minutes as opposed to taking weeks to figure out. He found that he said to his researcher, give me the top 10 businesses in Santa Monica, in our area. And one of them was a veterinarian service. And he's like, okay, well, how do I tie in a veterinarian service to a cancer hospital on the west side? And this is nothing to do with that, but this is something you can research and find these businesses that are in your community, and then brainstorm ideas of how to connect them into your cause. So what he did, he said, wait a minute, okay, so we've got patients that are coming in. They're here for weeks at a time because they're dealing with cancer, and they have animals at home, and they miss their animals. And this guy is brilliant. So he called the vet, and he said, hey, I've got a problem. Can you help me? And everybody likes to help. And so the guy comes down and he takes him outside. He says, I've got these cancer patients. Their animals are at home. They can't visit their animals. I've got this plot of land, and it's probably the size of this room. And there's nothing here. What I want to create is a little dog visiting area with grass and rocks and a bench and water. But I'm not sure what I would need to do that. Can you help me design this area? And the vet was like, this is incredible. You mean the people could bring their dogs here, or someone, and then they could come down from the camp and visit their dog and see their animals. He got so excited, he said, well, I'm not only going to help you design it, I'll help fund it, and if the dogs don't have the right shots to come in, they can come to my clinic for free. And I mean, you talk about a way to tie someone in based on what they're interested in. And so again, tying it back to AI, here's an opportunity for you to just think about, hey, who's doing what in our community? What do we not know about? What are businesses that are doing this? What are businesses that are doing that? And then you can sit down and have that brainstorming session and figure out how can we tie them into what we're doing at the mission. And again, just keep enabling it to give you the opportunity to ask questions of your donors. The next one, personalization at scale. This is great. You know, AI has the ability to pull personal details from past conversations you've had with people. Again, like in that note taker, the last gift they've had, a program they champion, they're interested in, and then turn it into a thank you that really feels handwritten. I mean, it's so easy to take that concept, the content from them. It's, you know, scan our database and tell me I'm meeting with this person. Read my historical notes and give me the key points that I want to put in a letter. Again, take that, proofread it. It's really important, and it gives you the ability to create a letter or a conversation points for a phone call that is tailored to that specific donor and what they're interested in. And again, it always comes back to this personalization. Another one of our investors was telling me he's a very, very wealthy Christian man, very involved in projects in India, sharing the gospel in India. And he has an organization he's given a lot of money to. He got an email report from them. Here's an update on your giving and all the things that we've done. And he said the entire report was about South America. And he said, God bless them in South America. I'm not interested in South America. What did you do with my gift in India? And so with AI, you're able to go in and say, tell me about my conversation with Sally Smith. I want a letter specifically related to the project she's interested in. And if you've got some other resource that you can pull, and here's a spreadsheet, here's our annual report, pull comments out of the annual report that we can add into this conversation with Sally about what we did in India or Rwanda or wherever it is. And again, it really makes that donor feel special, makes them feel unique and cared for, because you're talking to them about what they're interested in instead of just more generic, here's what's happening at the mission. It's really targeted to what they're interested in. Okay, the next one, turning video into multi-channel copy. This is something we're getting a little bit more into, like expert level, harder type things to do. But your organization already produces videos, and you've got great things. You look at website, you see long form video and different components like that, with program updates, events, and impact stories. What AI has the ability to do is watch that video and create a draft, whether it be email, social, or like a text from that video, and send that to a donor that's specific about this video. So you don't have to sit there and watch the whole video and say, now I got to write a letter about this. You literally can load that video into an AI platform and have that read your great video that showcases all the great work you've done, create copy with it, and maybe it's something that you're going to take and you're going to take a link of that video and send it to a donor. Say, we want to share this video with you. Here are the 3 highlights from that video, and really summarize what's happening there. Because typically, in video, which is so important to use, when you write copy with video, it basically, you want the copy to kind of highlight what's happening in the video with a couple bullet points. Hey, we had a grand opening, and we did these 3 things here. And then, take a look at the video to get more details. The 3 bullet points are about, they're going to get more detail of that in the video. But you can use AI to watch that video and create those drafts. It really gives you the power to film that, that content once and then use it multiple times. Again, it's harder to use, or it's harder to find in the AI space, but there are ways of doing it. And I'm going to talk to you about another opportunity in just a second here. But again, video is crucial. The stats I was sharing with you earlier, people are 7 times more likely to give if you use video. and 200% more higher click rates if you use video. But don't just limit it to your video on your website. Take that, create copy for it, and say, I'm going to send this out across the text. I'm going to put this in my social media, and maybe, again, there's a link to that video, and leverage it that way. News scanning and timely outreach. The best AI isn't the best written; it's the best timed. This is like really one of the principles that we built ViewSpark on. We wanted you to be able to share updates on what's happening right now. It's not that 3 weeks ago we had an opening and here's the photo or the video or the curated story. It's something that's happening right now. I've seen clients leverage AI to find news stories that are relevant, that affect your mission and what you're doing, and it can suggest messaging. So it'll look at the news and say, this is what's happening in the news, and take that content and create bullet points for you to talk with. You can create a morning briefing from it. What happened last night in the news that could impact the mission in Durham? Give me 3 stories something that happened there. Again, it's harder to find platforms that do that. It's more of an expert level development of AI, just because it's hard. I mean, again, I am a intermediate user of AI, and some of the stuff is intimidating to me when I think about how to do it. But the beauty is, I can simply say, hey, I'm trying to create a letter from a video. How do I do that? Oh, give me the link to your video, and we'll take a look at it right now. Or those types of things. So you can use AI to teach you. Even it's like having someone next to you teaching you how to do it. So even though it's harder to do, it is a tool that will be really, really effective for you to leverage, again, that video content. You have to be using video, whether you use ViewSpark or someone to create publish videos for you, polished videos you can put on your website or include in something else. You've got to be leveraging video and make sure that you're able to use it across multiple channels. So. This next one, live brainstorming. This is kind of a fun one and one of my favorite things to do when I'm driving. Sometimes I need to think out loud, trying to figure something out, and I want to talk through it with, I use Grok or Claude. It's like a smart colleague that never gets tired. It's someone you can brainstorm with. And so you think about a challenge that you're faced with, and you can use AI to talk through that with you. So I want to give you an example of how that works. There are settings in your AI platform, and again, I use Grok for this type of thing, where you can have it speak, recognize your voice, and talk back with you. So when you think about something that you're stuck with, and in the old days, it's like, okay, who can I go brainstorm with on this? I'm going to call that, well, it's 11 o'clock at night, it's too late, or I'm driving between meetings, I can't do that. Well, now with AI, you can use live brainstorming. So I'm going to open my Grok app here. Hey, are you there?
Yeah, I'm right here. What's up?
I'm really struggling right now. I've got a donor meeting tomorrow, and we have 3 areas we're focused on: feeding people, our computer lab, and our new thrift store. I'm not really sure what to talk to them about. What do you recommend?
I'd start with the feeding program. Donors connect fastest with stories of people who are hungry today, not with long-term tech or retail ideas. Share one specific story about a family you fed, then tie it to how it frees them up to think about the future. That's your emotional hook. Once they're leaning in, bring up the computer lab as the next step.
Well, hold on.
Show how kids...
Stop right now. Can you give me a couple bullet points?
Sure, go ahead.
Can you give me a couple bullet points of what I should say in the conversation when I tell that one story?
Sure. Here's a tight script for the feeding story. Last month, Maria came in with her 2 kids, completely out of food. Her youngest hadn't eaten since breakfast the day before. We gave them a hot meal and sent them home with groceries for the week.
Well, hold on a
She
second.
told me, now I can...
We don't serve hot meals.
Take your time.
We don't serve any hot meals. We only have cold food. Can you change it to include that?
Got it. Here's the adjusted version.
So you get it. I mean, it really can be helpful to have a conversation with, and again, keep an eye on it because it's not you, but it does pull from information and can be really helpful thinking through scenarios.
First draft.
This is the first draft, 100%. And then from that conversation, you can say, give me the talking points for this meeting with the donor. Give me the one-pager. Give me the 15-page briefing that I can use with that donor. Most importantly, don't put in personal information. Don't take your CRM and put it into an open AI source. I'll talk about that in just a second in more detail. But you do need to be careful what you do share with general open AI as opposed to closed, and I'll cover that in just a second here. Okay, just want to talk for a second here about which tools for which job. You know, when you look at oh yeah, do whatever you need, and I can forward this to anybody. When you look at the AI space, I mean, you hear so many. This one's the best. This one's the best. There are so many different platforms. I find that many of them are helpful for different things. I'm not going to read through this because you can read, but you know, there's the 7 listed through with the different platforms that you can use that I've used for these types of things. A lot of your CRM platforms will provide options as well that can be really helpful. You'll see this mentioned here, something called Signaler AI, and that's something I want to just share with you really briefly here. When I started ViewSpark, I was a fundraiser, and I was tired of seeing nonprofits being, you know, they always said we're 10 years behind the for-profit space. I heard that for decades. And so, you know, we had all these great technology with video and everything, but no one had leveraged this for nonprofits. So I left USC and started ViewSpark. I'm seeing the same type of thing here with AI. There's so much AI, and there's so much in the for-profit space, but I just said, okay, wait, what about the nonprofits? What about tailoring a platform that really is specific to fundraising in the nonprofit space? And so I called one of my friends. I said, he's a high-level AI builder, and I said, hey, what could you build in the nonprofit space? And so together, we're in the process of launching a platform called Signaler AI, and I'm really excited about it. It's a tool that will be really helpful in the fundraising space. And the thought is this: that Signaler, and I want your help with this, by the way. It'll handle 4 of the different components that we're talking about: writing appeals, personalization at scale, video and news scanning. The most I'm excited about, the most components I'm excited about with this is that it's going to create a way, like I talked about that video to multi-channel. What Signaler AI is going to do is have you take a 30-second video, record it, directly link it into the platform, and from there you'll be able to have it say, here's my 30-second video. I want a copy version of this to go to middle donors, monthly donors, volunteers, and people who haven't given. Press a few buttons, and instantly you've got copy for email, social, multi-channel, and text that is specifically related to that video within seconds. So you don't even have to pull in different things. It all happens at once in the platform. And what's going to happen with it as we build it out, we're going to be able to pull in. You know, there's 400 rescue missions around the country. What are other rescue missions doing that has been really successful? Well, let's make sure that we leverage that in Durham's copy. You know, so we'll be able to focus in specifically to your industry, rescue missions, Salvation Army, animal welfare, whatever. It's going to be a phenomenal tool to really leverage and give you the ability to create copy from video that you can use on multi-channel. The next one, I think, is really where I kind of got this really driven, this news feed concept, the news scanning. I've always talked about with our clients, we want you to be the voice in your community. When something happens, you know, when the world changes, your voice leads instantly. And so what Signaler is going to create is the ability to cultivate news. And you say, okay, I'm a rescue mission in XYZ city. Here are the things that are important to me. What Signaler does is it'll pull any news story, anything that comes out that's whether local or national, and it'll make suggestions to you and say, hey, President Trump just said this about homelessness and the policy. Here's what we think how that impacts your mission, because you've told us about your mission. It's very tailored to your mission. Here are 3 talking points. Go record a video that talks about how you're responding to this. And the real heart of that is it gives you the ability to be the voice of reason in your community. My goal is for you, as the fundraiser, as the leader of a mission in your city, is that when your donors hear something on the news from President Trump or from the local newspaper or something else, or the news at night, I want them to think, I wonder what the mission thinks about this. I wonder what they would say about this. And this gives you the ability to not only be alerted to it immediately, hey, this just dropped seconds ago, this story did, but here's how you should respond to that. And of course, you can cultivate and change it. But it empowers you to be the voice. So the minute your donors hear something that's happening in the community that impacts your work, you're able to talk about it and respond. So this is in process. We're developing it. We've got most of it built. Here's where I could ask for your help. This is a commercial. There's a closed beta test that we're launching with a small handful of fundraisers that we want to help develop the platform, use the platform, and refine it. There's no charge. There's no commitment to it. We will at some point be charging folks, but not the intro people that help us start us. So if you scan that QR code, there's a link in there to sign up and say, hey, I'd like to be a part of the beta test and check out Signaler AI and really leverage AI for fundraisers, not just scattershot here and there. Really use AI for fundraising purposes and build that out. So if you have a chance, you can scan that or talk to me. I can give you the QR code, and you can be a part of helping that build that out and leverage that for your ministry. Okay, let me show you when AI gets it wrong. Again, this is where you've got to be really careful. A brief comedy of errors, kind of a little bit more on the lighter side. One in three people got wrong math results from AI. That's a statistic that came out. 1 in 3. 40 to 50% failure rate on multi-step math. Okay? Imagine AI telling your board you had 340% ROI when the real number was 334% ROI. It won't hesitate. It won't flag the error. It will be wrong with total confidence. And I think we were talking about this earlier, Melinda. And I actually experienced this. I was creating a board report for ViewSpark, and it like, wow, our numbers are phenomenal. And then I looked deeper. I checked it out. Like, oh, you like counted something 4 times. Like that's not real. And then I said, hey, you missed this number. Double check this. Oh, okay, great, no problem. And it resent the update, and it was the accurate numbers. It didn't apologize. It didn't say, sorry, we missed that. It was just like, yeah, here's the updated report. So just be really, really careful. It will always be confident, but it does make a lot of errors moving forward. Reading the plans. I love these pictures. I got a few pictures to show you here. You see AI output can look authoritative and still mean nothing. You see that here's a guy that was designing a building and said, we want concrete in this part. Well, the concrete actually showed up on the design picture. That's probably not very accurate. This one back here. Anatomy 101. AI skipped the class. Details matter. That's not how NEXT work. And then this one, I love this because it's just, if you use AI like this, where's Waldo? He's right there. Well, it did complete the assignment, but it kind of missed the point of the assignment. And then this one was really funny. Google AI said, put glue on your pizza. Add about 1/8 of a cup of non-toxic glue to the sauce to give it more tackiness. Someone asked, how do I create pizza sauce that's tacky? It doesn't know what's true. It just knows what's popular. So, these things are funny when it's pizza, when it's meaningless. But when it's your donor's name or a number on a board report, it's far more serious. So there are rules we talk about with AI, recommendations we make on what things you should do and shouldn't do with AI. I'm just going to list 5 of them for you real quick. And you just mentioned this, Daniel. Always have a human. It's the first draft. Always have a human review the information. Every single word, not most of it, not a quick overview. Read every single word to make sure that it really, really is accurate. Disclose when appropriate when you're using a note taker or any type of imagery. Again, more and more people are getting comfortable with AI when you're in a meeting, so you don't so much have to say, hey, we're using AI to record the meeting, but it is a common courtesy to use. Don't let AI replace the relationship. It's so important. I remember when direct mail happened, we found fundraisers just sitting in their offices because direct mail was going out. Like, well, go see people. Now all these other people are being talked with direct mail. Go see people. Go leverage your time and your relationship. Go get personal with them. And AI, again, can handle a lot of tasks for you and do things, but make sure that you're still focused on relationships and continuing to talk to people. Write a one-page AI policy for your shop so everybody's on the same page. It's important to make sure that you've got some boundaries and some guardrails with that. And then, importantly, never paste donor personal information into a public AI tool. I'll show you in just a second the difference between that, but making sure that that personal information that the donor has, their name, their email, their phone number, you don't want to just throw that in there, meeting notes and everything, just into open AI. And just to talk about that, the difference here, there are connected AI tools that are safer. Nothing I would say is 100% safe. I would say it's safer. And those are integrations with your CRM, enterprise AI platforms like SignalAlert AI, those types of things, or purpose-built fundraising tools. They've got data agreements in place. They don't train on your data, and there are audit trails that exist. Where you have to be careful is the copy and paste. When you say, I'm struggling with this, here's all this donor information, copying it, and then just going to Google and uses Gemini and putting it in there. The free ChatGPT where you're using that information, there's no data protections, and it could train on your input. It's not secure. Yeah. So those open tools are great when it's like, hey, what restaurant should I go to in Asheville? Those types of, or the conversation. Hey, I'm struggling with this donor thing. What do you think about this? There's nothing personal that I shared in there. If I were to be saying I'm meeting with this donor and this is the number of their kids and this is their phone number, that's the stuff that you have to be careful with. So, okay, how to get started with AI really quickly here. Just kind of a quick 4-point plan. If you haven't done anything or you're just getting started, pick one person, pick one representative in your shop, and kind of a low task process. And it could be as simple as, hey, I've got these 5 donors I'm meeting with next week. Create bios for me and talking points from that. That's a really easy task to accomplish in AI. So pick someone in your office. Secondly, create a pilot. Give 30 days to a curious team member, someone that really wants to figure out. Because again, there are some things you have to learn. There's some videos you can watch on AI. You go on YouTube, you see anything you need to see on how to leverage AI. Find someone that's curious. They'll say, I'm going to figure out how to do this, how to make this really an effective tool. And give it some time. Give it 30 days. Measure the time that you're saving. And then finally, see if you can scale it. What worked grows. How can you take that person from, hey, here are five people I'm meeting with to, hey, could you equip us to meet with these donors? There's 100 we're trying to meet with across the team. How could we leverage this for middle donors? And those types of things. Leverage it and then figure out which scales and what scales will help you grow. AI gives the fundraiser back 10 hours a week so they can focus only on what humans can do. Sit with a donor, listen, and ask questions. That's what we are here to do, to talk to donors, sit, ask questions, find out what they're interested in, leverage these tools to help you do that, make more time for you to get on the phone and talk with donors and communicate and connect with the needs that they have. So that's the quick nutshell on AI. I'm happy to answer any questions if I can, and if I answer a question today in 10